So here we are. This is what is it, episode 7, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Appropriately, episode 7, part 2. We'll be talking about Star Wars, we didn't get to fully talk about last time.
Right. We have to correct a few things.
Yeah. So let's get right down to it. Jer, hit that sweet, sweet chin music.
I'm a clone, I'm good and I'm fine. I'm running more of the way. I'm too doctor, he's on the line. We'll take incubation another day.
All right, I think that's enough pause. How's everybody doing today? This is an early podcast.
This is
for
different.
us.
This is different.
Yeah, it's a Sunday afternoon.
Everybody's hungover.
Yeah, I may or may not throw up at any point. So if I disappear for a bit and you hear gross things in the background, that's what's happening. And don't. You're gonna make me do it.
One person didn't even make it.
Yeah. Dan's not even here because I think he's currently throwing up. He might be with us later.
He might have fallen asleep.
Yeah, he may have fallen asleep. I'm imagining him passing out in like with his face next to the toilet.
We'll report on the books. He'll report on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're doing something a little different. We're drinking mimosas because
mimosas.
we're those kind of people.
Mimosas today.
Those kind of people.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with being that.
It's afternoon. It's the afternoon drinking.
I probably should have brought the materials over here before we started. Yeah. So I guess we should introduce ourselves as we always do.
Hi, I'm Dan.
From my left. Yeah.
I'm JR. Yeah. This is Greg speaking.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Jared. There's 4 of us right now. We also have Holly here being silent next to me, but
maybe she'll work up the courage.
Yeah, if she works up the courage, maybe she'll come and talk. But as for now, there's only 4 horsemen today.
Nice.
So Dan, why don't you start us off with some
shop talk?
Okay.
On Twitter last week, Jim Lee, who's one of the big wigs at DC Comics now. Everybody knows Jim Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Great art back in the 90s. Still a fantastic artist, but he's like, I guess, in a more corporate position now. But he tweeted a picture and it just said Rebirth. So DC is planning something that is going to reshape, I would imagine, or
because Convergence went so well.
Right. So my thoughts as a retailer, I'm happy that they're doing something, that they have a plan, because their sales have been pretty bad lately. A lot of their books aren't working, so I'm hoping that this will sort of shake things up a little bit, move some creators around.
Yeah.
And really, I think they need to condense their line and focus on, the core Justice League members. And a couple of the fan favorites.
I agree. There's just, first of all, you don't need, how many Batman books are out right now?
There's way too many.
There's too many fucking Batman books out. I mean, everybody likes Batman, but fuck's sakes.
Right. Like, scale it back a little bit. And they're going, I know their plan is to double ship Batman every month.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so we're just going to get more Batman in that regard.
I mean,
but I'm okay with that if they're going to cut out all those ancillary books that just sit on the shelf and don't do anything.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping whatever they do works. If they want to renumber everything at number 1, go for it. Like that always drives sales.
Yeah.
But whatever they do, it has to stick because people are not happy with the current product.
Yeah. Rightfully so, I think. I mean, other than the regular Batman line, I'm really not interested in anything.
Justice League's been good.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
Yeah. But that's Jeff Johns. Like, in whatever he does, he's good. But you can't rely on one person to drive your company. You can't, just like you can't rely on Scott Snyder to drive, Batman.
Yeah.
You need other people that are good.
Right.
And it's not like they don't have talent over there. They do. It's just they're not executing it the right way. And another problem I have with them, like, their marketing blows. Like, they don't create hype like Marvel does.
Right.
Marvel's very good at creating hype for things online.
Yeah.
DC not so much, and then Marvel will send those postcards, those mini posters, the big posters.
They give you the preview issues and
Preview
stuff.
issues. Like they always send all this stuff
Yeah.
that I can put in your bag.
Yeah.
And you pick it up and you flip through it probably, and you're like, oh, that's cool. I'll check that out. Or even if you don't cognitively say like, oh, I'm gonna check that out. When you see it on the shelf like
You're
a month later,
there's that. Okay, I've been seeing that.
Exactly.
Like Spider-Man, for example. Like I've been seeing that fucking one shot of Miles Morales in every fucking Marvel book for like 6 months. I'm like, okay, when is Spider-Man coming out?
everybody's excited for it because they've created that like hype and like that like, oh, I can't wait to see this Spider-Man.
Yeah.
DC doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Like they don't. I don't know.
Yeah,
Somebody over there needs to be like, oh, maybe we should improve our marketing because it is 2016 now.
Also, whenever I read it, even the like Batman, the one DC book that I generally, I have been reading Eternal too, but when you can tell their marketing isn't great, even in the way they advertise. Like, who thought it was a good idea to do those half-page vertical, like the comic on top, and then on the bottom part of it, like it's a Twix ad, I think.
Yeah, that's
What?
that is
each page is not. It's not an ad on one page. It's an ad below. There's a comic book on top on half the page, and then on the lower half of the page, it's a fucking advertisement.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It makes you feel dirty reading the comic book in a bad way.
That is something that used to happen like back in the 80s, I think, maybe 70s, and. I would assume it went away because it made the comic very hard to read.
Yeah.
But I think they did that to save money. Less pages.
Oh, yeah, I guess it makes sense.
But come on, guys.
Yeah, you're better
It
than
pisses
that.
off the creators too, because they don't have the full reign over the
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
if
you
the
have to tell
page is
your artist.
medium.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, this. You have to have at least one page. They probably don't say which page. But like one of your pages has to be able to be divided into a top and bottom.
That would bother me.
Yeah.
Vertically. So stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm hoping for something good. Marvel, I've been seeing, and a lot of other retailers have been seeing a very big drop off from the number ones to the number twos to number threes of their new line. And I think it's because they have overly diversified their product. Instead of having, like a Miss Marvel and a Squirrel Girl book, which, we like Miss Marvel and Squirrel Girl, but not all people our age do. It's a book aimed to attract young female readers.
Yeah.
So you have those two. They were successful pre, Secret Wars relaunch.
Mm-hmm.
After Secret Wars, how many books do you have like that now? You have Moon Girl, you have Patsy Walker, you have... there was Spider-Woman in Silk before, so they don't really count. But Miss Marvel is now on the main Avengers team. You have Captain Marvel and A-Force and Spider-Gwen. I mean, there are a lot of books aimed at young female readers.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with attracting them to comics because it's good because comics are for everybody, but they don't have the money to buy all those books.
All you're saying the young female readers and don't have the money as opposed to
keep
young
up with-
male readers?
No, as opposed to us. The
Oh,
more
right. Oh, I see
traditional
what you're saying.
reader,
Okay.
like who wants to still come into a store and pick up books about the characters that they have liked for 25 years
Right.
or more. Like you can't even pick up an Avengers book and relate to it if you're like an older guy. Like this is what I was reading.
That's
for
true. A
so
lot
long.
of them are teenagers, and it's not even necessarily that. Honestly, it's not even like the fact that they're all the new a lot of the new characters or the books that are out right now are female. It's like a lot of them are just teenagers.
Yeah.
Like Nova and
Yes.
what's Night Mask and
Starbrand.
Starbrand.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of them are. We talked about this in the
Moon
store.
Girl.
There's just a bunch of like younger characters. Well, I get it. Like they're trying to get
Right.
younger readers, but like for us, I mean, I I do buy those books anyway.
Right.
But,
Right. I still read them too, but I know there are guys who are older who come in and they just look at it and they're like, this is not my Avengers. And like also, okay, you wanna like shake up a character like Thor. Cool. Like you made her a woman, and it's been very well done.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
But then you change Captain America. Then you change the Hulk. Then you want to change. I don't know if there's someone else. Wolverine. So you're changing all these classic characters. So
yeah.
you can't even really read about them anymore.
That's true. I like. I like Sam as Cap, but like, I like Steve as Cap more.
Yeah.
and
Well, they're planning to bring back Steve, and there will be 2 Captain Americas.
okay.
Which okay, I'm all right with that. I think you just if you want to attract new readers, you can't do it and then forget about your loyal readers that you've had for decades.
Right. Another thing is like introduce new characters. Like you don't have to
Yes.
brand your characters. You don't have to like make different people different characters.
Yeah.
Give me some new, cool, awesome characters.
That's
Like-
kind of racist too.
Yeah,
Like,
kinda,
well, what would
kinda.
make Captain America different? Let's make him black. Yeah. That's kind of fucked up.
And but it's almost like doing disservice to Falcon himself because it's like, oh, Falcon, you weren't interesting enough
Yeah.
by yourself.
So we have to
wouldn't just give you your own book. It's like now you have to be Captain
You
America.
gotta wear a
in order
white
for
guy's
anybody to
costume now.
Yeah,
That's fucked
It's
up.
just
Yeah.
a total like cheap fix.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a good point, Jer.
yeah.
Yeah, fuck him.
So I don't know. I don't know what's like going on with Marvel. I mean, the number 1 sold really good for me, but I've seen a drop off. There are a lot of books where like I'm not even ordering in the double digits because there's no
Like fucking Drax. No one
Yeah,
gives a
like-
fuck about Drax.
Like, and
He has his
seriously,
own book.
He has his own book?
Yeah.
For what?
Exactly.
when did the Guardians movie come out? 2 fucking years ago?
Yeah.
Like,
There's like 3 Guardians teams or some bullshit like
Yeah.
that. Or 2 or 3. There's at least 2. I
and
know.
Gamora's supposed to get her own book.
Why?
Rocket and Groot have their own book. Drax has his own book. Star-Lord has his own book.
Yeah.
And the Guardians and Guardians of Infinity, like, come on, guys. Like,
Yeah.
this would have been cool 2 years ago, but the Guardian ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do this, wait till later. Like, nobody buys the fucking Drax book. I think
No.
it's sold 2.
I mean, yes. And speaking as someone who has on that shelf right there every single Secret Wars book,
Impressive.
I do not want to buy all these different character books because I just don't. I can't. That would be
Yeah.
insane. Like, I mean, you literally have a whole wall of individual Marvel character books, and it's not. No one can do that. So you have to like pick a character, and if you don't like it, you're like, well, I tried that character, but now I'm like 3 issues behind on this other character. If I want to read that, I got to buy, 3 or 4 issues because I waited a week or 2 weeks. It just, yeah, cut down the fun characters, Marvel.
It's oversaturation.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what killed the industry in the 90s. That's what I'm worried about. So, yeah, that's my Marvel complaint.
We're gonna have a bunch of dollar boxes for this era of comics. Too.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I did notice though, they are not printing as many first prints of books. Like,
Right, that makes sense.
I went through a lot of the Hulk #1s, the Ultimates #1s, Suicide Squad #1s, and I went to reorder them like Friday, 2 days after they were
It's
out,
already on second print.
and they weren't there. And then the second print announcement came a few days later. So I actually like that because it's going to help drive people to come quicker if they
Right.
want to get their first prints, rather than saying, "Oh, there's going to be 1 million of them. I'll go in 3 weeks."
Yeah,
So that's
you
smart.
always
It
want
creates-
people to come quicker.
Creates supply and demand problems, which bumps up the value of books for us.
Right, right.
Real quick, Image, one of their like top brass people, Eric Stevenson, he said, because the problem with Image, like their stuff's really good, we know that, we like it, but they take really long breaks for certain books.
Yes, that's
and
true.
it sort of kills interest. Like, you're reading a book and then it goes away for 6 months. You're not going to come back for it unless you're hardcore.
Right.
And in an interview, this guy's kind of a douche, but in this interview, he addressed that problem. He said, we need to work on that. But I found it ironic because his book, Nowhere Men, #7 came out like 2 weeks ago. The last issue before that came out, like 2013 or something. So like, wow, dude. I guess you get it.
Yeah.
But that's good because they like I've seen a lot of people drop off, when there's big breaks. So
Yeah, like actually, Saga is probably a good example. Although people get really excited about it when it comes back out.
they do. They come
So
back
maybe
to
that's
it.
different. Yeah, that's
But
probably
like
a bad example.
Pretty Deadly or Bitch Planet.
Right, Bitch Planet. I didn't even know the new one came out, and then I saw it and I'm like, holy shit, I like that comic.
Yeah.
Thought it was. I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, and that's it. Like you move on to something else.
Yeah.
You don't remember. And then that creates a problem for me because I base my numbers off of what sold previously, but like if I'm looking at something that sold like 6 months ago,
Yeah.
like, it's not going to sell the same. So like I end up like spending more money than I should have to because
Yeah. Can I just say that I love just the title of Bitch Planet because it sounds like something on a TV show that they made up.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
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 awesome.
like, what comics are you reading? Oh, this Bitch Planet.
right. And even like the cover art like
Yeah.
further takes that idea.
Yeah, it's just like so ridiculous, but it's a great comic.
That 70s sci-fi movie that has the great movie poster, but it's a terrible
That's
movie.
exactly what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Have you seen the covers? for
No,
Bitch
I
Planet?
haven't.
That you just described the covers. on
Okay,
Bitch Planet.
great.
Yeah, in fact, I'll
I'll
show
read.
it to you. It's that's exactly right.
Next episode, let's do Bitch Planet.
We can do Bitch Planet.
Yeah, we can.
I like Bitch Planet.
Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah. In fact,
call,
it's
Greg.
right over here. I'll just fucking show it to you.
All right.
You guys continue talking.
And the last thing, this is a long shop talk. I'm sorry, but it's been kind of a rough couple weeks. My distributor, Diamond Comics, they distribute to all the brick and mortar stores. They just fucking signed a deal with Walmart to distribute trade paperbacks to them.
Seriously?
Yeah, like such a
Fuck's sakes.
dick move. Like, fuck Walmart, man. Like, do you see they're closing so many Walmarts? So basically, those Walmarts, they're closing like thousands of them.
Good.
So they go into these small towns, they put a Walmart in, they kill all the small businesses,
And then they pull out.
and then they pull out, and then there's nothing. I read an interview where there was a guy who owned a little like grocery store in this town, and once the Walmart was announced as closing, the mayor of the town or someone went to him and was like, "So you want to reopen your store?" And he said, "No."
Fuck
no,
you, man.
like, exactly, and I don't blame him. Like
Jeez.
his business was ruined because the town took to fucking corporate Walmart,
Yeah.
and then they leave, and what the town has nothing now.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to start over. They're gonna have to basically rebuild. So I'm really, really irritated that my distributor's doing that. Because they're never gonna send like monthly comics to Walmart.
Right. Hopefully.
But the fact that they're sending trades, that's a big deal for me because
trades are more expensive.
Exactly.
You
like
make a lot of money on it.
Yeah, you make your money. Like I don't make a ton of money on comics. Like the margin, let's say it's 50% on a $4 comic. Big deal.
Although, I have to, on the other end of the thing, like, because I can't imagine, I know for me and hopefully for everybody here, if you saw, like, that Walmart's carrying trades, you wouldn't fucking buy them there. Like, people who like comics, I think, are hopefully smarter than that, and they realize,
Yeah.
like, because comics, I mean,
That's the thing, though. Like, people will, though.
some people might, but
Also,
it
if
might
they
not
drive
be.
out the business, if you can't get them at a little shop, you might have to go to Walmart.
That's true, but also like maybe I don't know. Maybe it might get more people into it. It could potentially help you because like it might get more people who wouldn't have gone to the comic book shop to read stuff. So they might be like, oh well, I like that book. Maybe I'll try something else.
That's true.
That's a possibility.
I don't remember seeing. I don't remember a time that I've ever been in Walmart and I've seen comic books. So they, even if they have them for people who like, even if they get more traffic than you would get in the shop, their section's not going to be their comic section isn't going to be as big as
Right.
a comic shop.
That's a good point.
Right.
Yeah.
I hope they don't like. If they start selling them heavily discounted, that's a problem though.
Yeah.
Like if they're like 25% from cover price,
Right. Yeah. that'd be a big problem.
that could be a problem for me.
Yeah.
Still the availability. I mean, like they might get that one there or some, but if that turns them on the comics or if plus anyone who's, I guess I cut you off, but I guess anyone who's
No.
who reads comics regularly already goes to shops
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
that that they know that they're not going to have the kind of selection. Like they don't want to have their choice of whatever half dozen at selections they have there. That
Yeah, like I would venture to say that Walmart definitely won't carry Saga.
Probably not.
yeah.
They don't even they have their own, like for music they have their own, like sometimes it's like a Walmart version of CDs that are like censored and shit because they don't want to.
They do.
Yeah.
They don't. Yeah, they do. They wouldn't want to. I mean, I can't imagine Walmart allowing certain things,
Right.
That the comic book shop would have.
Hopefully they just stick to like the classic superhero stuff, so it won't be that big of a deal. But what would suck is if Diamond opens up all the toys and stuff to Walmart, because then I would be
Oh,
screwed.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like the margins on that shit is not very good as it is. And I would imagine Walmart would order billions of them and then just,
Yeah.
undercut me.
I never even thought
Completely.
about really your toy sales and stuff. Because that stuff's not available at, like Toys R Us, right? It's the last
Yeah,
thing you have.
the stuff I get, like I can get the stuff from the Toys R Us and Walmart and stuff, but I don't because I can't sell it as cheap as they
Right.
do. So I try to get the stuff that is exclusive or
Right.
like not widely available, with the exception of the pops.
Right.
Because those things
Everybody fucking buys those things.
Beanie Babies.
I don't
those-
get though. I don't
Because
get
people
it.
buy those a lot.
Oh fuck!
they sell
man.
a lot.
Buy the shit out of those. I don't know
Crazy,
why.
dude.
It's
They're
crazy.
crazy.
Huh.
For those of you that
Beanie
don't,
Babies.
Yeah.
do you know? For those of you that might not know what pops are, they're those little. Are they bobbleheads? Do they actually?
Some are bobbleheads and some are not.
They look like bobbleheads. They're like these little
Big head
kind of
motherfuckers.
cartoonish
Yeah.
versions
Yeah.
of there's literally characters from everything that they make into these little pop things. But yeah, for whatever reason, people buy them.
Eat 'em up.
a lot.
What do they run? For like a few bucks a piece, I guess.
I don't know. Good question, Dan.
That adds up, I suppose. If you're getting a shelf. full of-
Walmart and Toys
Yeah.
R Us sell them like for $9-10. I sell them for 12.
Yeah.
But I get access to some that they don't. I get like exclusives for previews, magazines, and Entertainment Earth exclusives, like things that are not widely available. So
What's one that I could find in your store, Dan?
there is a. You guys remember the classic Star Trek episode where it's like a mirror universe and they're basically like Nazis?
Yeah, with the goatees.
Yeah,
that's
there's
like
a Spock. There's a Spock one.
Okay,
Really
that's cool. Yeah,
it's very cool.
That's pretty specific.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and they're-
well, that's how you know that someone's from a mirror universe is they have like a weird goatee. In
Yeah.
fact,
I
In
love
fact,
it.
you baby from the mirror universe.
Jared is rocking.
maybe
a
shouldn't
weird-
have said that
Jared has been replaced.
because you guys are gonna start asking some questions about where the guy who used to live here is.
that's pretty funny. Another one, glow in the dark, Cthulhu, is in the store right now.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like weird ones like that I can get that Walmart doesn't have, but
That's cool. It's better, more, not quite as widely available as a Kylo Ren pop.
right, yeah,
These
Right.
days or something.
yeah, those you can find fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's shop talk. Sorry, that was long.
Yeah.
My
No,
bad.
That's fine. So I guess we can go around the table. We might as well start with J-Man. So what Chin's doing? What Chin's reading?
What am I doing? I should have thought about this more, but I didn't know you were going to go to me first. Go to Greg first.
All right, Greg. What Chin's
Let's
doing?
go in reverse order. No, it's not me. Actually,
Greg either.
let's just skip straight to Jared since. Yeah.
We fucked that all up.
Let's see. I've been watching Orphan Black. It's a show about.
I didn't even hear that.
I'm on Orphan Black.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's a BBC show, but it's a sci-fi show. I'm only in the third episode, but it's everyone like a lot of people talk when it's not new anymore, but it's like people have been talking about it for a while. It's a show about a woman who she witnesses another woman intentionally step in front of a subway train and kill herself. But the moment before she steps in front of it, she sees and it's someone who looks exactly like her. It's the same actress. So she's like, "What the?" So she takes, as everyone's like, there's all this commotion and people are like, "Oh my god!" She steals her purse. Nice.
Jeez.
And to try and figure out what the hell what the fuck is going on, and she finds out that she is either a clone or there are a bunch of clones of her or like something. She's a part of an experiment where there's all these people running around the world that are her, and they kind of have to figure out what the fuck's going on. It's pretty cool, and it's the same actress doing a bunch of different accents, a bunch of different characters, which is really. She does a great job. She should probably win some kind of fucking award for that shit because like she's convincing as a bunch of like wildly different characters.
Is it like real English? Because I have a hard time.
No. It's set in Canada actually. I think.
Oh,
I think it's
really?
Canada. Yeah, I think
Okay,
it's set in
cool.
Canada. So there's a lot of she and the other main character are the only two that have like, strong British accents. But also the other versions of her, one has an American accent, one's Russian, one's German. Like there's a bunch of different accents. So it's not super what you would call British.
Yeah, I have a tough time with that.
Yeah.
I have a tough time with Canadians though.
Do you?
Yeah. No, if it's real Canadian,
So
I can't-
Greg's
I don't. No, it's been a few instances we talked about the X-Files, but like sometimes I'm watching an episode, and a lot of that's filmed in Canada. I'm like, okay, there's like some hick truck driver, and he looks like it says that the little readout on the bottom says like, oh, something in Virginia, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he's down there, and then he slips out a little or sorry or something, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
no, not fooling me.
Kind of like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Every episode, they're like, I'm so sorry. God damn it. I mean, there's nothing against Canadians, but
Actually, X-Files, I should have mentioned that because by now,
oh right,
By now, we've had the first two episodes.
That's like point, yeah.
Tomorrow night should be the third. Well, first two, I guess. I don't know whether they're counting because it's supposed to be 6. Was the first
That's a good question. I was
last
wondering
week
that
was
too.
a 2-night premiere, so I don't know if that counts as 1 or if that counts as 2 out of the 6.
I think it counts as 2. I'm not sure, but I'm
That's a
pretty
shame.
sure it counts as 2.
It's a
Yeah,
shame.
I liked that second episode a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it threw me off guard. I thought like it was all going to be like
one
basically
arc.
like mythology, the whole because it was such a short mini series.
Yeah,
But
I'm glad it wasn't.
yeah, me too. I was really happy.
It
about
felt
that.
like X-Files, like real, like straight ahead X-Files.
here's something new we know nothing about. Let's investigate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what I want from that show.
Yeah.
They kind of even reset the whole universe where it's like, okay, their son their son, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Their son is who knows where, and
Yeah, that was bugging me that whole episode.
yeah.
I
But
wanna know.
I mean, it's essentially a reset where it's like Mulder and Scully aren't together, just like they weren't together in the show. And like the kid's not in the picture, so it's like kind of like classic X-Files where it's like you got Mulder and Scully, they're not really banging or anything, they're just like out there solving cases. And I like that.
Yeah,
In fact, still calling each other by last names, which is always great because it's weird to hear them say anything else. The one character, this I don't know, prissy, pesky douche nugget, whatever.
From the Soup and from Community.
the TV host.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
what's-
guy.
Joe McHale.
yeah,
Yeah,
He's great, by the way. I love him.
Like a few minutes after meeting the two of them, he calls Scully Dana,
Oh, yeah, he says it,
and like probably an hour goes by in Showtime before. I think that they're in another location, and Mulder like turns to her and says, "Well, what do you think, Dana?"
Yeah,
Message received. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
that was good.
This is relevant to this. I read a theory that from the first episode, Mulder and Scully had been fucking the whole time. Which, if you watch the X-Files like that, it makes a lot more sense because they're always giving little like
Yeah,
kind of I don't know, like the fact that she's not more upset with him more often because he's always saying and doing crazy shit and like really almost like borderline irresponsible shit. Well, but most of the time she's just like, oh, Mulder, like shakes her head and like she's like kind of amused, kind of annoyed, but not really. That's like the sign of someone who you know really well, like someone who you're probably banging.
yes.
Like if they weren't banging, it wouldn't make sense for her not to be more upset with him more often. I don't know. I think that's when I read that I was like, holy shit, you're right.
It'll make it more interesting. Not more interesting, but it'll be a different viewing experience next time I sit down and watch one of the old ones.
Yeah.
The number of times that he's like ditched her and said like, "Oh, go back to Langley and do this for me." And she's like, "But okay."
Yeah. And also the fact that, because I mean, regular humans like they couldn't go like what is it, 9 years that the old one was on without like
Yeah,
being around somebody every single day and they're both attractive people. and neither one of them are in a relationship. So like, there's no fucking way that you're not gonna. I don't know.
Go down
No
that
one's
road.
that professional.
Open that door.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you're not banging anybody else, they're banging.
Yeah.
That's what goes on. Unless they are both like on Tinder or something.
There was no Tinder back
That was
then.
the joke. They don't have their cell phones were still the fucking like at best those Nokia brick phones.
Yeah.
Did they have cell phones in the beginning of that show?
They might not have.
They
at
might.
the beginning.
Did they the flip?
I
the
think
flip down
they
ones?
did. I think they did.
I don't remember. I haven't seen an old episode in a while.
We have to
Don't,
actually
like-
pull the antenna out.
Yeah, You pull the antenna out. You like
Yeah,
slide the.
I
slide
think
the
they
bottom
did,
down.
but they didn't always use it. And like sometimes you think, why don't they just call? But then reception was so shitty back then.
Right,
like,
that's true.
It was totally justifiable that you couldn't, like, if you're out in the country or something, like maybe.
Right, or the episode in the woods with those little green glowing bug things. Remember that one? They would wrap people in cocoons and
Oh,
suck,
yeah,
suck
yeah.
your moisture out of you.
Yeah.
I thought that was legitimately scary.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
But like, that's probably why they wouldn't have just like called, but like, can we get some support in here, please?
Almost any like there's so many like if that show, thank God that show didn't happen 10 years later because they could have
So
bailed
much of
themselves
it.
out of most of those situations.
Yeah, just by being able to call somebody.
They'd always have to make some shit up why they couldn't.
Yeah, yeah. If you watch modern shows, I can't think of any examples, but when you watch modern shows, it's like, why does your cell phone never fucking work? Or like, wait, what? Oh, was it Star Wars that where like all their comms for whatever reason like just never fucking work? I know, what was it? It was another movie. I just watched something where it's like every time someone goes to use some kind of communication device, it's
Doesn't
fucking
work.
broken or it fuzzes out or for whatever
Yeah.
reason. You're like, really? It's futuristic society, guys, come on.
Star Wars is a long time ago. In a galaxy far, far away.
That's fair. And the holograms are shitty.
Yes,
You
very
can jump between stars, but holograms are shitty.
junk.
Yeah. It's like watching a fucking 70s television. Like you can create little like robots that roll around in a ball and are essentially people. Like
Yeah.
they're self-aware, but the hologram project on it is like a piece of shit.
That's true. Even that first movie came out at a time when color television was a norm. And
Yeah.
holograms are
Yeah, it's like
monochromatic.
R2. What are you doing? You don't have like it's 3D kind of, but it's like shitty like I don't know.
Hazy ass blue. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all they're all blue. Yeah, even on the Star Destroyers, like it's a closed circuit system. It's not even like they're transmitting distance. Like the Vader is talking to a guy like down the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like this little shitty hologram. You can't even tell like who it is really. That's really funny. So I guess we can get into some of these books. I don't have the notebook in front of me. I guess we could just
Saga.
start with. You want to start with Saga or start with Jacked? What do you guys think?
Whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me.
That's the kind of day it is. Oh, whatever. Like the beginning of Coming to America. Whatever you want. Whatever you like.
Before we start, I have to say that I started playing Fallout 4 and it was a mistake.
Oh man, why'd you do that to yourself? Fuck.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, god
All I'm
damn.
going to say is it is impossible to play for 20 minutes.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Like,
Everything in a Fallout game takes more than 20 minutes.
yeah.
Even the little things.
Even the little things. You have like your home base basically, like you can start to like build a colony. And I'm like really anal retentive about the way things look sometimes. I spent like 4 hours setting my little camp up. And it was like 2 a.m. By the time I was done, I was like, it was on
didn't
Thursday.
do
I was like,
anything.
what the fuck? Why did I do this?
I built
Like, I didn't play the game. I just
Right, I didn't even
built
do anything.
something.
I just built something.
I built like a condo, like a big like building. It took forever. It took days. And I think I've been in it like 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't really do anything with it.
Yeah, I can't get into that game right now.
Don't.
I've already been sitting in the house too much. It's playing that fucking The Long Dark game. Holy shit.
Dying in the wilderness.
Goddamn what, man! I died I died after 124 days.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That sucks too. 'cause
Oh.
124 days and your whole game's over.
it was just stupid too. Like I so for those of you
Probably
who
something
don't
real
know what
dumb.
this, it was so dumb. So those of you that might not be aware, this
put
game
your
is
shoes on
a
and die out.
survival. It's just a survival game. There are no other human characters in it. You just dropped in the middle of the Canadian wilderness, and you just have to survive. And there's wolves and bears and like deer and rabbits, and those are the only other beings that are in this whole fucking game. But it is engrossing because you have 4 attributes you have to maintain, like warmth, tiredness, food, and drink. That's you'd have to keep those things up, or you start to die, and it is extremely difficult. Initially, once you get
It's a hard ass game.
yeah, once you get the idea of it, it becomes a little bit easier. But like at first, you're like, holy shit, I don't know how. Like it makes you feel like if you were physically dropped into an wilderness situation, you would be totally fucked.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. Yeah, and I had all the warm clothing on. I just went to sleep outside for a little bit too long. I died.
Yeah.
That was
Oh
it.
my
Something
god.
stupid like that.
Something real
That
stupid.
is infuriating.
Oh man! And the worst part is, as you're sleeping, it shows the hours counting down. It just like shows your percentage of health going down,
Yeah,
and you can't
you-
stop
you
sleeping.
saw it
There's no
just-
cancel. Yeah, I'm just
Oh,
like,
come on,
no,
you
no, no, no,
can't-
no, no, fuck, no, god damn it.
You can't wake yourself up?
Nope. No, because that's you can't wake yourself up if you're actually sleeping. I wouldn't.
So I'm curious. Were you just out there? You had the warm clothing. You saw that you needed to sleep, and you thought, "Well, I'm too far from my home."
No, I wasn't even too far from my house. I was just like, no, I'll be fine. I was just in like a fishing hut somewhere, and I had all the warmest clothing on, and yeah, just yeah,
Oh my
wasn't
god.
thinking. Yeah. Oh, also while you're sleeping, like the weather can change, so
Oh,
Yeah,
it
that
got like
sucks, too.
way colder
not
than I
fair.
thought it was going. You're right. It's not fair, but nature's not
That's
fair. I guess.
nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have no maps, compasses, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You're just in the wilderness. So you're like, man, I could try exploring over there, and there might be like a bunch of cool shit. But I
Or-
might die getting over there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
might freeze to death.
Yeah. Like on a map, if you compared the maps, like they're probably like considerably smaller than something like Fallout, but the difficulty.
It's pretty big, though. The game's
You know, it is really big, but because it's so difficult to like actually explore,
Yeah.
you kind of don't like really move that far out of like a radius. Once you like settled into like a encampment or something, you just kind of stay there until you literally can't anymore. It's really intense
so how does the game? Like, what's the object of the game to
Stay
progress?
alive.
to just stay alive
So
as
if
long as you
stay-
can.
Like, let's say you got to 100 some days. What if you got to 300 some days? I mean, is there eventually?
The season would change.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, you're essentially in the Arctic, or not the Arctic, but it's like the tundra. No, that's not
Canadian
tundra.
wilderness.
It's the wilderness. So like
Canada
even
goes-
summertime up there is cold as fuck.
I was gonna say even Canada goes pretty far north. So
Yeah. Yeah, I forget what they say. Is it Northwest Territory? I don't know where you're.
Did they say that specific?
Yeah, no, I think it just says Canadian wilderness, but I'm assuming it's someone like super far north
Yeah.
that people don't live in. Although it's like there's like fishing huts and stuff, so it's probably like a really far north, like outpost kind of
yeah.
area, or maybe like not a resort, but like a place where people go to get away.
Sounds-
It's awesome.
Did you ever get those bears?
Oh yeah, I killed 2 bears.
You got 2 bears, so you got a sleeping bag.
Oh yeah,
Oh shit.
yeah. And bears don't go down easy either.
Yeah, that was
bears
how
are
I
scary
died.
as fuck.
I shot a bear 5 times with a rifle.
Yeah,
It
And
goes fucking nuts. It runs all over the
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
I lost track of it and then it killed me.
Yep. when you're not ready for it, like the first time you shoot one of those bears, it starts running. You're like, holy fuck,
Yeah.
because they're fast. They're so much
you have
faster
to
than you
actually
are.
track it. You have to follow the blood trail.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. If you lose track of it, you're fucked.
I forget what a bear. How fast does a bear run? Is it
Like 35 or
30
something
miles
like
an
that.
hour?
It's
or
way
something?
faster than a person can run.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
It's
Which is
it's
cr-
really
'cause
Plus, if
fast.
you're like in the snow and you're already tired, like you don't go very fast in that
Right,
game.
that too.
Because it like looking at a bear, it looks like they would move very, just laboriously and not be. Not to say not much of a threat because they're gigantic, but I can't remember. I don't think I told you this. The Lewis and Clark bear thing. Did I tell you about that before?
Oh, I've heard that story before though. Like
Did I? I don't know if I mentioned it on the show. Stop me. But
they didn't know what they
I don't
were.
know.
yeah. They were exploring. Of course, Lewis and Clark explored east to west. And the Indians, the indigenous people, whatever, told them told them about this creature that was really big and hungry all the time and almost impossible to kill. And they're like, aha, well, we have these muskets. Little do these bears suspect. So they went and they found one, I think in the woods or something, and it was what they didn't know was that it was a cub. So they killed it, and they were like, "Haha, we're men." And then they found another one out in the field in the clearing at a distance.
They thought it was a little bear.
Yeah, because it was tall grass, so they couldn't really see it. They just saw that it was there, and they're like, and they shot it at a distance with a musket, which of course, like the velocity
Probably just
of those bullets-
bounced off.
Yeah,
I'm
just
sure of
pissed it off.
Yeah, exactly. So, which exactly did the thing. Now, I was reading this account of it, which was kind of funny. It was like kind of a long paragraph, and so the I guess early Americans are kind of like the English. They're very big on their understatement. So they said like they said it way more interestingly than I am paraphrasing it right now. But it woke up the bear. It was just sleeping. So it woke up, pissed off, ran after them. They thought, oh shit, and ran opposite direction and panicked, jumped into the river thinking, okay, well, it won't get us here. And it jumped in and swam after them, again, faster than they were swimming. And finally, I think they were like down to their last bullet, and like it got close enough that one of them just got a lucky shot right in the eye socket and killed the thing. And the last statement in the paragraph said, we believe that our curiosity as to the regards of this animal is very well satisfied at this point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bottom line is, in real life or video games, don't fuck with bears.
Yeah, they're like monsters.
Yeah, they are. They're real life monsters. Yeah, they're horrifying. Speaking of monsters, let's get into this Jacked comic.
Yeah.
All right, so who wants to sum it up?
I think you should because you picked it.
All right, yeah. So this comic is Jacked. It's from Vertigo, which is I think we talked about before, a subset of DC.
Yes.
They're more extreme. It's like their Max, their version of Marvel Max. But they, so it's about this guy who's a regular person, and this is a story I know we've seen a few times before, where it's a regular person, and he essentially finds a drug that turns him into a superhero, and but this is more of a kind of gritty, down to earth version of it's like a middle-aged dude who is already, he's just feeling used up, and so he kind of reaches out to his brother turns him onto this to these nootropics, and so he starts taking them, and then he essentially becomes a superhero and takes control of his life, which quickly spins out of control.
Yes, very quickly.
Yeah.
and that's probably how it would happen too. Like,
yeah.
You know, if you all of a sudden had these abilities,
Yeah.
you're not going to be like a good old Superman.
No, it's not this is probably a much more realistic origin story for any superhero if you think about it. If you got superpowers, you'd be like, okay, I can do this. I can hit the baseball really far. I can I can save this person from a burning car. Oh wait, I'm gonna just tell my neighbor to shut the hell up. Oh wait, turns out he's involved in some extremely nefarious activities.
He's like
and I just killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now a bunch of people are gonna probably try and kill me. Like it went from 0 to 60 very quickly.
Yes.
In an awesome way.
Very fun. You know, I didn't give it a try. I don't know if it was the cover or what, but I'm so glad you were like, you got to read this because I loved it.
Yeah.
It was very enjoyable, very funny.
Yeah.
You know, his internal dialogue is great.
Yeah.
You know, like and as I age and things have started to slow down, I can totally relate. Like, this is a relatable guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not as old as he is, and it's not that extreme, but like I definitely can't do the things I could do when I was 24.
Right.
So I love that I was able to identify with this guy very easily.
Yeah, and just I'm not in his situation. He has like a wife and 2 kids, but even if you're in if you've been in any kind of long-term relationship or something like that, where he's like, well, like we both kind of aren't interested in sex, or my kid doesn't look at me like I'm a hero or anything like that. Like he's like tired. He's like a tired fucking dude. Mm-hmm. And this thing makes him, into a new person.
He's jacked.
Yeah,
And he looks like Jack Nicholson.
He does look like Jack. Do you think that's intentional? Like it's called Jacked?
I hope.
I didn't think of that.
That would be-
That's
that would be
the
cool.
hairline, I think, is.
Oh, it's absolutely that's
Especially on the cover issue too. Like, he really looks like him, I think.
Yeah, he's a little pudgier than an older Jack Nicholson. But
Yeah.
the hairline.
I don't know. Jack Nicholson's pretty
He's probably
pudgy right now.
Well, by now, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, when Jack Nicholson was his age, like 50s, whatever. It's,
How old was he? How old is he now? Like 70?
Yeah, he's got to be.
60s?
No, he's way into his 70s, I'm sure, by now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I wonder. Actually, yeah. Can someone use science to figure out how old Jack Nicholson is?
Science.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how old he is compared to Harrison Ford, because Harrison Ford is one of the people who is way older than you think he is. Mm-hmm. You know, because he doesn't really look that old, and you think of him as like a dude who does his own stunts and shit.
Jack Nicholson is 78.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was born
Holy
in
shit. So
he's-
1937.
He's almost 80.
Well, Harrison Ford's not much younger than that.
Yeah.
He's like,
78. I didn't think you were going to say that.
yeah. Harrison Ford's like in his 70s, I think, right? He's
Harrison
early 70s,
Ford.
71 maybe.
I'm going to guess late 60s.
I think he's in the 70s.
He was born in 1942. He's 73.
Yeah,
Wow.
shucks.
Yeah.
Slightly
Think
off.
about Harrison Ford and Jack Nicholson are essentially the same age.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
Yeah. Well, especially when you get that old, it's like you're the same age.
Yeah, it's all the same.
But how? So I guess Jack Nicholson would have been in his 40s whenever he shot. Like he was the Joker, right?
Something like that.
26 years ago.
Because he wasn't thin when he was Joker. He was like
No, it
still
would
kind
have been
of-
like in his early 50s.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
because that was like 25 years ago. Rounding down 25 years ago.
Oh yeah,
78
because that
years ago.
special edition just came out. Yeah,
Yeah.
Batman.
So, yeah, like 52, 53, something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we've digressed off the.
Yeah, well, it's sort of what you didn't say, but what you kind of meant was that Harrison Ford now looks like he's in better shape than Jack Nicholson was 25 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Also that. Yeah. we'll get to him later.
Yeah.
In the once I am done feeling I'm on the edge of puking.
This is who I think the cover on the first one. He looks like this guy.
Oh yeah. He's on like 24.
Yeah.
He's the president. Yeah.
Yeah. Gregory Itzen is his name.
Yeah. Okay.
See, I'm not seeing
Yeah.
the picture. Whenever you said President 24, I was thinking David Palmer.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, everyone. Yeah. Of course,
yeah.
everyone.
As- when that cover came out, I was like, this
Yeah.
dude is drawn on the cover. The interior is totally different, but on the cover, I thought that guy looks like a guy.
He kind of does look like him on the cover. Yeah. That's a good
like
point.
for the first issue for sure.
Yeah, and you know that's once we get to Saga, we'll talk more about this. But like the one thing that in a lot of comics, you'll have like a cover or something, especially if it's not someone who's wearing a mask, where it's someone who is supposed to be their face. It seems to be really common where they can kind of look different throughout the whole comic book.
Yes.
And Fiona Staples does a great job of not doing that. Like each one of those characters looks like almost like a person you know. You know, like the covers, they all always look the same.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that later. Yeah. So what do you? I don't know. Thoughts on Jacked?
On Jack, I would agree with the thought. This is probably how I liked how you put it. It's this is probably a realistic version of how any superhero's origin story would be if you found out that if I found out that I had superpowers, and I maybe not. I guess I'd have to be invincible to think like this, but I'd go straight to the rough neighborhoods and just kind of like not instigate it, but wait for somebody to start something. And I'd say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Can you give me directions to Shady Side or something?"
Can I have directions to the white people store?
And just like the biggest group of good for nothings that I could find, and just then it'll just become one of these splash pages in the centerfold of this comic where I'm just
I'm just
tossing
like
people.
visualizing in my brain like a big splash page of Greg like one foot is kicking somebody, one fist is like punches the different guy in the face. There's blood everywhere. Your hair's just like looking really awesome.
Yeah. So it's in that way it's a good it's a good book for going through and pausing every once in a while, thinking, oh yeah, what would I do in this spot? Probably about the same, you know.
I just had a great idea for like a comic book. I'm not going to say it on here because I don't want anyone to fucking steal it. But I think it's someone remind me when we're done with this to bring this back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've had a couple, like one or two. I think when not recording, we've talked about. I remember having a conversation right over there about.
Right. Oh yeah, the alcohol
I wrote it
one.
down.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
I wrote it down.
Jamie, what do you think about this?
I liked it. I'm not totally sure why I liked it, but I really liked it. I do like what you said, his inner monologue.
Yeah.
Ah, so good. When he says some shit about, is it Ted McGinley?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we looked that up the other day.
Yeah, we looked it up because we were like, who the fuck is Ted McGinley? Because he calls somebody like a Ted McGinley looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like the one, I don't know, baseball coach or whatever.
Yeah,
he
the guy
is.
on the
We were
batting
like, that
cage.
was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys know who Ted McGinley is?
No.
He's the dude from Revenge of the Nerds. He's like Stan from Revenge. He's
No.
the head jock.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Ted McGinley.
Oh, that's
and from
That's perfect,
He's
yeah.
the next door neighbor in Married with Children too.
Yep.
Oh, that's
He's like a really pretty looking he just looks like an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a really good looking
Yeah, he does
asshole.
look like a dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's pretty funny.
McGinley.
Yeah. And his name is Ted McGinley. Like
Yeah,
fuck you,
you've got
Ted
a douche
McGinley.
name. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, although he is great. I'm Ted McGinley. If you're listening, I think you've done great work.
Yeah, Ted McGinley's the actor, not the character.
Yeah, he's the actor,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I take that back. I was making fun of his name. I thought it was the character name.
Yeah. No, but that's the perfect name for that guy. Like
yeah.
That's just his face looks like a Ted McGinley.
Yeah.
Hey, McGillicuddy. That's another one. It's for anyone who's watching Moonlighting. It's Booger from Revenge of the Nerds was on Moonlighting, and his nemesis was this other guy who worked in the office, who's like blonde, good-looking guy that like was going after the same girl that he was, but his name was McGillicuddy. So
McGillicuddy reminds me of like a shitty fake doctor from the like turn of the century. Dr. McGillicuddy's magic medicine. He's like, that's just alcohol, man. You're just you're an asshole.
It's just
You're selling people alcohol with some like herbs and spices in it. that's just bitters. Yeah, it's gonna make it feel better because you're getting drunk. Yeah, but I'm trying to think of any like deeper observations. Dan's not here for our like
getting crazy on it. Yeah.
getting real crazy on it. I feel like
There's
we're
only
missing
like
a piece.
6 of these books, right? It's like one of 6.
Yeah, it's one of 6. Yeah.
I was going to ask that, yeah, because we read the first 2.
One of 6.
Is the third one out?
Yeah, it just came out
Okay.
this past week.
Okay. Yeah, if I didn't get a chance to come down this week and get it, but
I think things are going to get real shitty for this dude.
oh, I think so too. Yeah. Did you read the third one?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Because I didn't know if we were gonna read it for this, so I didn't want to get too ahead of myself.
Okay.
Because it seems like where things are really gonna start to spiral out of control to
Yeah.
the maximum.
Yeah.
Because he smashed that dude, killed him.
Yeah.
He didn't kill him. He's in a coma, right?
I think he's in a coma. Yeah.
Yeah. And his girlfriend was like, "You better hope he doesn't wake up."
Yeah.
I feel like the story is just starting
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's not to say that these 2 issues are anything to toss out or anything. It's just it's a really good setup.
Yeah. Well, it was like an origin story over 2 issues, and then, boom, here's his first adventure.
Yeah.
Fun.
Definitely fun.
Oh, definitely worth reading if you're looking for something fun.
Yeah. And there are some kind of like maybe existential, observations especially in the first issue where he's like, oh, I'm falling apart, like my life is kind of like blah, like it's certainly not bad, but it's just like my wife makes all the money and like I can't find a job because there's no market for me.
Right,
and
he
all
feels
that
like a
kind of
loser.
stuff.
And it
Yeah.
shows him like going through all the interviews.
And the only thing that changes is his tie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
If
Like-
if Kevin Spacey's American Beauty character, who's Lester Burnham,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
if Lester Burnham took a drug and got superpowers,
Yeah.
and American Beauty turned into a totally different story,
Yeah.
you can read about that.
Yeah, that actually might be what Eric Kripke was. Who, by the way, is the Supernatural? He's Supernatural, right? He writes Supernatural,
I
or
think so.
created Supernatural.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's the
which
same
is
guy.
great. I'm not sure if you guys watched Supernatural, but I love Supernatural.
I have not.
Yeah, it's cheesy, but it's awesome. Yeah, yeah. He had to have been in some way influenced maybe by that movie.
Yeah.
I realized that sentence didn't make any sense. He had to have been maybe. Stupid. I'm hungover.
That's okay.
Any other thoughts on this particular?
I like what Vertigo's doing. Like they're putting out just like these minis of just stories, and they're all pretty original. Like the last Vertigo book we talked about was Twilight Children.
Yep.
You know, like
When do we get that last issue?
it came out this week.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. You gotta read that and see.
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea how they're
Right.
gonna wrap that up.
Exactly.
In one book.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do with that. Yeah, Vertigo. I think I agree. Like Vertigo seems like they're doing. There's probably. There's other books that we haven't talked about or read.
Oh yeah, they have a lot out right now.
Okay.
Some of them are not doing so hot in terms of sales, but I like what they're doing though.
Yeah.
It's a nice change of pace and for DC.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're trying to cultivate the Vertigo line rather than give up on it.
Yeah. It seems like they're doing like a little mini kind of image thing where it's
Yeah.
like, you have a goofy idea? Yeah, sure, why not?
Here you go.
Yeah.
We'll give you a limited series run. Just have at it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So Saga then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. We should say this is the first part of us talking about Saga, because obviously Saga is a fucking saga, and it's very long. So we're not going to talk about all of them right now. We're just talking about the first 6 issues.
Yeah.
The first trade.
First 6 issues, and maybe we can make this like a saga thing. Like every
Make it into a saga.
yeah, like every episode we check in with Saga.
It's called the Saga.
Yes.
What is how many? So first 6 issues out of how many are there as of right now?
32.
32?
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's almost like a whole book.
yeah,
Like a real one.
Yeah,
it's not an old. It's not an older series. It's like what
2012, I think.
2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still going or it's done now?
Still going. And like the early issues are very difficult to come by and
Yep.
very expensive.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. But okay, so for those of you who do not know what Saga is, it's been described as Star Wars
Yes.
for perverts.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty. The first frame is the first. I should say the first page is a splash page, and it's a woman's. It's just her face. This is one of the main characters, and she's asking. She's giving birth, and she's asking, "Am I shitting?
Am I shitting?"
Well,
Am
actually-
I shitting? I feel like I'm shitting."
But to opposite of clarify, when I first looked at it, I didn't know that she was giving birth because it's just zoomed in on her face.
Right.
And it's just her in profile, sweating, like wincing, saying, "Am I shitting? It feels like I'm shitting."
Right.
Yeah.
And it
don't
could be
see it
anything.
till
Like
the
it could be
next
somebody
page.
actually shitting,
Yeah.
like waiting for it to happen because we've all been there.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, you said the first image that you see of the first issue. The first image of every one of these issues is pretty good.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, the last one or one of the last ones that I read, it was one of the characters is, well, he actually is on the toilet in illustration, but it's like
Prince Robot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Robot.
Yeah.
It's Robot 4, whatever, however you call him. Strange characters / creatures in this one.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, getting ahead of myself, but yeah, that's yeah, good. Anyway, carry
Yeah.
on. Never mind.
I think each one is each issue has a great like kind of opening with a bang type quality to it.
Yeah.
Especially like the one I was thinking of, the one you opened up the page to is that he what's his face? The will is on
Sextillion.
Sextillion.
And
It's just 2 women's heads on legs.
Long legs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Like there's no bodies at all.
So
It's just
creepy.
legs. Yeah, it's really creepy. Welcome to the Sextillion. This whole book is a mix between creepy and weird and hilarious
Charming.
and charming. It
It's
really
so
it's
oddly
really fucking
charming.
good. Yeah.
You can't read it and not experience some sort of like glowing emotion while
Yeah.
you're reading it. You're like, oh, this is so nice and cute. And then you turn a page, it's like, well, here's the Will smashing this guy's face with his hands.
Yeah, and that's not even that's pretty tame for
Right.
for this book.
Well, fuck. I mean, when he goes to Sextillion, like, good lord.
Oh yeah,
There's all kinds of weird shit.
I'm pretty sure that like on that page there's insertion in one of those pages. Like,
I was just gonna
definitely-
say,
Yeah,
there's-
right.
I saw the penetration.
Right
Yeah.
there.
yeah, there
Greg
you go.
spot it.
Yeah. But so to kind of briefly describe what this book is about, it's
Don't forget about the Romeo and Juliet aspect.
right, exactly.
You know,
Well,
like
yeah, it's a character telling the story of her parents. Like,
Yes.
that's the perspective that you're being told the story.
Yeah.
But she's kind of like an omniscient narrator.
Mm-hmm.
So she is telling you not just from their perspective, but other characters as well.
Good word.
Thank you.
Yeah, I used to teach about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. A
but-
plus for Jared.
I read a lot, but no. So she's telling the story of her parents and her her origin story really, and it's pretty epic. It's definitely a saga, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Star-crossed lovers, sort of. Like you have two warring races, and they fall in love, and it's very frowned upon by everyone else.
Yeah. So they're being hunted by both sides because they fall in love and have had a kid together, and that's kind of like where the story is. Right now, that's the whole point of the story.
Yeah.
But as far as the if like the attraction to it, like for people who are like, just mentioning Star Wars for perverts before, it's a pretty good sort of beacon to show people what they're in for if they get into it, because people who like perverted things would probably find something or more than one thing in there that they like. But also, like, the Star Wars element is one thing that I like about Star Wars, that almost every character, well, so I won't say almost every character, but almost very many of the characters in Star Wars are representative of some species that we've never heard of, don't know, don't see very many others of them, but it wouldn't be inappropriate to see that. So, like, so many of the characters that are in here, like the Will, for some reason the contractors, the freelancers, they call them, the bounty hunters, you know.
Yeah.
They there's some political ties that they have. I'm not really sure what the full story on that is, but like the Will is a cool character that you follow a little bit more closely. And there's another one that you see called the Stock, which is a really cool character design. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Super cool.
But it's a totally weird looking species. It's
yeah.
scary when you first see it, and then when you really see it, it's really scary. And all the creatures on Sextillion. So there's that element to it.
It's a great variety of characters.
Yeah, the dialogue, and also the dialogue between, because so much of it is the action that happens, the plot that you're following, and all the while you're seeing the dialogue between the two main characters that are the Romeo and Juliet figures, and they have a cool dynamic with one another, which is important. You can see why they get along and why they get on each other's nerves. But we were talking, Jared and I were talking earlier about the Will and he has this pet cat. It's a truth cat.
Lying cat.
Lying cat, sorry. Where I didn't think of it at the time, but it's kind of like a Han Solo Chewbacca thing where you don't get much dialogue from the cat, but it's what purpose it serves. It's like that kind of partnership.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the like specifically the cat, because it only says one word. It only says lying if someone is lying, which serves to like so many different storytelling purposes. Where it's if you build somebody up and they're definitely telling the truth where they're, I don't know. When the truth would matter, then like having the cat there to not say anything is just as important as having it there to say, like lying. And then you can also use it for it's mostly used for comedy at first, and then because you establish the cat as being like a truth detector that's just around all the time.
Yeah. It
adds more weight to things that, like, when someone does tell the truth, then it adds more weight to that statement because the cat didn't say anything.
Very creative.
Yeah. Or just the cat, like the looks the cat gives and shit.
Yeah.
Cat's just like,
You said it earlier. Fiona Staples can draw a look.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like she can show emotion through a face perfectly.
Yeah, her that's one of the things I really love about this, like I said before, is that these look like people that you might know, or like you might, they look familiar. They look like actual people. They don't look like really comic book characters. Everyone in here, with the exception of things that are like a dragon sucking its own dick. Actually, I'm not sure if we got there. We didn't get there yet.
That's further along. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's,
You'll get there.
you'll get there. But yeah, all the things with faces that are vaguely human-like, they all feel like actual people when you see the expression on their face and stuff.
Real emotion.
Yeah, and that's wonderful.
Her art is amazing. Like, it is this very, I don't want to say cartoony, but it doesn't look very real or threatening, but the storytelling and what's going on and the facial expressions, and I don't know, like, you can look at this book and you're like, oh, this is probably, like, you flip through it, it's very colorful, it's very bright, it doesn't have that, like, that moody feeling that you would expect from a story like this. I like that about it.
Yeah. It's cheerful almost. Like,
Yeah.
the whole thing is like all the colors and everything. It's like a cheerful kind of.
But the content is not cheerful.
No, it's not. Absolutely
It's
not.
a very heavy story, and it's very violent and perverted, but I don't know, maybe that's the charming aspect. Like, you read it with a smile on your face. You're like, oh, this is so great.
Yeah, and when something good happens, it makes it that much more impactful when it's like all these cheerful colors, and you're like, oh, that's just like, like at the end of the is the first issue? Can I see that? I think it's just the two of them hugging or something, but it's just like a really nice, full page picture of the two of them hugging. I think, where is it? Oh, they're kissing. Yeah, here we go, right there. That's just really nice.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, the artwork is fantastic.
So
and
good.
even the dark mode, like that, it's nighttime. You know what it reminds me of? Video games that had that. I forget what that style is called, like the Wind Waker style. Where it's cell shaded, cell shading.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it looks kind of like a cartoon, but in this case, it's realistic, like a really realistic cartoon. And I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. The colors, but it's a wide variety too. It's not all the subject matter is obviously very tense throughout, because these, there's this war going on, but then this relationship forms between a member of each side, each species in this war, which is threatening to both sides, it seems. And so, like, both sides of this war want these two and their one offspring to be eradicated before anybody finds out about it. So there's a lot of tenseness throughout the whole thing, but the color, like, it's like whenever you go to like in Sextillion, they're like everything's so bright, it's very Vegas-like or something, and then but in whatever it was, whatever graveyard or woods or wilderness that they're traveling through, I guess that's another Star Wars thing where it's just so many different environments.
Yeah.
And being on different planets and the whatever ship it is that Robot Prince is on, that has the kind of I don't know, it's at the same time like this not thinking of the right adjective, but like that royal kind of, I guess it's his uniform, his outfit.
Yeah, he looks like Napoleon kind of.
Yeah, Napoleon's a good one. Yeah, mixed with all the utility of the environment that he's walking through, the ship that he's on, and everything. What is with the robots, by the way?
That's great.
They're like a third party race that
Yeah.
they
allied
sided
themselves.
with the wings.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're I forget. Is their planet also in the same system?
it might be.
I forget.
Correct
Explain
me
it
if
a
I'm
little bit more
wrong,
later on.
but
Yeah.
the war was like taken outside of the system.
Yeah,
that the
yeah.
planet and the moon were
Yeah,
in.
but
so they
I think
weren't
that-
warring at home; they were warring in another system.
Yeah, but I thought the robot planet is in the same system.
Is it in there?
I don't remember. That's later
'cause
on.
in the text that, or I guess the first person explanation that the girl whose point of view we're reading this from is explaining, she says that because it's kind of an interesting twist, but the planet and the moon, like the planet has the one species, the moon has the other, but by actually waging the war on either, if the planet, if one of those two objects is destroyed or harmed, then it could throw the other out of orbit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Right.
suicide, which is kind of a cool device. So that's
Yeah.
why they have to outsource the war to other places where other species have to pick one side or the other. So it said where it says that it's peaceful back on the planet and moon. It says back back at home it's relatively peaceful, and for the most part people just didn't really give a shit like on the actual site, and that's where the robots are first introduced.
Yeah.
Is with this one banging the other. So.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to think that the comparison is between like the two planets are presented like kind of in the context of it, like that being like the United States, and maybe like the war itself is kind of like because we're all perpetually fighting some kind of war abroad. We're not actually fighting on our own soil ever. It's since I don't know, whatever our last war was. I've been drinking.
Yeah.
This Civil War, I guess.
Civil, yeah.
Well, that was the last one fought on our soil.
On our own soil. So like we don't fight here. We
outsource.
essentially outsource
Yeah, that's a
to
good
other
point.
countries. We fight over there, and then so you send people over there, and they come back, and they're fucked up, and that's essentially what's happening with both of these planets, or the planet and the moon. They're the people at home are just like, oh yeah, there's a war going on, whatever. Or if it's like you've got some discontent teens, they're like, I'm going to go sign up, and I think that's what happened with both of them.
Yeah.
They both signed up for whatever reason because they didn't have to. Like the people on the planet and the moon, most of them don't give a shit about the war. They're just like, oh yeah, there's a war being fought somewhere else. But I think I'm not sure if he's intentionally doing that to kind of parallel what happens with our country.
Did I miss it, or did they say why the war is even happening?
I think at the beginning they said like no one even remembers.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought. Maybe
Which
so
could
long
be-
ago, I don't even remember.
You could say like that's kind of like a Middle East thing where it's like do
Definitely.
we know why we're fighting anymore?
I'm
It's
just
just like
pissed off.
everyone's
all
pissed
the
off at
time.
each other for all the time and just fucking fighting. But I think that's a good like. I'd like to think that they're paralleling that or something like that, and then I don't know. That's
Yeah, at least with that much, I'm still curious about the robots.
They do let on like a little bit. They give you more information later on.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I
for
shouldn't
Yeah.
dwell on it too
Also,
much.
I think the robots look stupid as fuck. I just wanted to say that.
oh yeah. Well,
They're just. I mean, they're supposed to be the bad guys. They're supposed to look kind of like you're supposed to not like them, but fuck.
I like that. I like
I like
that.
how
I
silly.
like they're silly looking. Yeah,
They are.
It's
'cause
a person with a TV on their
God,
head.
they're hard.
Yeah, it's
It's an absurdly silly design.
Yeah.
So,
Fucking stupid looking.
so am I correct in thinking like I've only
Makes
seen
you hate them more.
I've only seen flashes of it. I don't really hate the characters, the robot character Prince 4. It's
I
but
do. You'll hate them more later on. Just
maybe I will. But I guess I just want to make sure that I'm understanding correctly. I guess is the basis of my question, because I've only seen a couple of flashes where I guess it's whatever that person that robot is thinking about shows up on their screen,
right.
and however briefly that is.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like you're like an insight into their head,
Okay.
Yeah.
into what they're thinking.
This is pretty neat.
It is
not-
really cool. Yeah.
But it's not just a device for us. It's like the other character that they're talking to can see it.
Yeah. Other characters can see what's on the screen, and there's a couple times where I think this might be later on where that comes into play, where whatever happens to be on their screen, like from what I get, it's like a flash almost.
Yeah.
It's not because it's never on their face for that long. It's almost like
In the moment.
their expression is whatever is on the screen instead of having like because obviously the TV can't move,
Right.
So they're if they get upset or excited or something, whatever flashes across the screen quickly and briefly. It's cool.
The rest of them's like a regular person. So it looks like a person with a TV on their head.
Yeah.
It really doesn't look like their head's the TV.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like an old like a stupid TV show or cartoon, like someone's having smashed a TV on someone else's head,
Yeah.
and they're running around with it on their head.
God, it's so weird looking.
Yeah, but I like the TV, that TV device. There's a lot of great little plot devices in this.
Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts of the story too. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, we're definitely thrown in the middle of this world, and there's so many different pieces that they hint at throughout the first volume.
yeah,
There's obviously the TV people then there's his background. Like clearly, he has some issues with what he experienced when he was at war.
Right.
There is the Bounty Hunters Guild or whatever we're gonna call them. Like they have some sort of affiliation with these people and such. And there's obviously the war. You know, there's all these like different things going on that, you know, even we're current. Like we still don't see everything play out, and I like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's great world building.
And going through it again, after having read like almost all of them, going through from the first issue, you're like, oh, I didn't realize they're setting this thing up. Like it's stuff I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
You know, it initially might just seem like world building, but it might actually be, you know, plot, setting up the plot for later, later use.
I like it too. Like, I don't necessarily hate any of the characters in the story, even though like the narration, like when the will is introduced, the narrator says like he's one of the meanest people like my parents will ever run into or something.
Yeah.
Like, but like throughout the story, like
He's like pretty decent.
Yeah, he's a decent guy.
Yeah.
He wants to save that girl who's being used as a sex slave.
Yeah.
And he kills that one dude, which was a great scene.
Yeah.
He just smashes his face like with his
Yeah.
hands. But like, yeah, like I like his character.
Yeah.
You know, even though like the narrator is telling us like this is a bad guy,
Yeah.
I still like him.
I'd love to think that Brian K. Vaughan is taking some like expanded universe Boba Fett traits and giving them to the Will.
Maybe.
In the expanded universe, Boba Fett's like this like super badass, but also like principled
Yes.
bounty hunter, and they just I hope that's where it's going. I would love that so much.
Yeah.
Even at the introduction of that character, because when he kills that pimp later on, that's a little bit later on. It's way after he's introduced. Well, not way after, but whatever. I think it's the first time that we saw the Will when he's going to meet whoever's hiring him, and there's that giant Balrog thing that's guarded.
Oh,
that's the
yeah,
guard.
yeah.
And he just approaches this giant fire demon, creature, and says like, "I have an appointment with Vez or whatever the name is," and it just breathes fire, and he blows it up somehow with a pretty cool. It's like a fire creature, so he just throws a sack of gunpowder into its mouth, and then it explodes. And whenever he finally sees his employer, his first thing out of his mouth was, "You wasted a beautiful creature like that on an audition."
Yeah.
Like, that sucks. And it reminded me of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome when you just before you see Tina Turner. Not that I don't know why I'm citing the worst Mad Max movie, but it's she has a similar audition for him. I don't remember if he killed anybody though in that one.
I don't remember.
It's
either.
like they had a bunch of people attacked him at once in this room, and he just like, I think he just beat them up. I don't think he actually killed anybody, and he didn't get on her case for almost killing her henchman just to audition him or anything.
Yeah.
But it's as if it felt like that kind of scene as I was reading it. So even that, like he didn't kill another person of his own species or a person or anything. He was pissed that he killed something, regardless that it was somebody else's animal, that he killed a creature that he would have otherwise admired on audition. He didn't feel that he had to do that.
Right, like it could have been an avoidable situation.
Yeah, so right there, I think it showed that he had some ethics in him.
Yeah.
Maybe he's gonna do some real dirty shit later on.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. Like, because we're really only going to talk about this, but like, I'm pretty sure that like I see where I actually forgot that the narrator says like he's one of the worst people. Like and now having read that again, I'm like, oh shit, because something happens later on. You're like, oh, okay, now I see why he's like he might do some horrible shit because he's pissed.
He's pretty mad.
He's really pissed off. So
well, and like his lover was killed in this volume, so that clearly, is going to set him on that path to being pretty brutal.
I think the great thing about this is that even like the characters who are necessarily like, I wouldn't say the bad guys, but like the antagonists, just because your narrator is definitely on one side, like the side of her parents. So everyone who's against them is by definition the antagonist of the story.
Yeah.
But even those characters, like I don't necessarily really even dislike any of them that much. I kind of see where they're all coming from, more or less, and that's a sign of good writing where you don't outright hate any characters.
Right. It is pretty solid writing.
Yeah.
I would have even liked to have seen more from the character that did get blown away. Like you said, the
This talk.
Well, yeah, I was for anyone who hasn't read it. Sorry for all the spoilers, but it's so when the stock gets killed, I thought that was a really cool design for a character, a creature, and I thought, man, this thing's going to be capable of so much cool stuff that we're
Yeah.
going to see just around the corner, and then nothing really
Boom.
happens with it.
Maybe that's another Boba Fett moment where it's like, oh, that looks so cool. Oh, well, no, dead.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, I thought like
Didn't
that.
do anything cool at all.
I love the narration.
Yeah.
And I love how it's scripted, like into the story. It's just like sort of like just basically written throughout a scene.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like an exposition like block or bubble or anything. It's just words just
Yeah.
written throughout a page. It's great. Like I think it really captures the fact that it's you know, from a child's point of view, but as an adult, like telling the story, like
Right.
of what she experienced or what she was told that happened before she was old enough to remember. I really like that. Very, very smart.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't see a lot of pieces of literature where the narrator is like talking about their own life, but something that's not really like they weren't really cognizant for. Like they were
Right.
there, but they weren't there. And it's like a cool, once again, another cool device that they use is
Yeah.
because the narrative is leading you on a path. Like there's certain things, even in later volumes, where like she'll say one thing at the beginning, and you're like, oh shit, like I don't. Oh man, like really? And then at the end of it, you're like, oh, I see what you did there. You were luring me into kind of like a little word trap or something where it's like I thought one thing was going to happen, but you know you were I don't know, intentionally misleading me. I like that too, where you can't really take the narrator's what is it, unreliable narrator? Is that that's the term?
Yeah.
Or unreliable perspective, something like that.
It's an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
It's I forget the technical term.
I think that's it. It's unreliable something.
I think there's a technical term to it, but
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. Like, when I was teaching, it was the cask of Amontillado was where
Right.
we talked about that.
Yeah.
Because the guy was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can't necessarily believe
Yeah.
whatever you're being told. You have to kind of infer what's actually happening versus the information that's given to you. And I think the narrator does that kind of in this a lot.
Yeah.
Like especially from the beginning of an issue to the end, or even from the end of an issue to the beginning of the next one. That happens a lot where it's like a cliffhanger or something, and you're like, oh, the narrator's telling me this thing. That doesn't seem good. And then the next issue, you're like, oh, okay, it's just that. Okay, never mind. And I like that. I like that. So that's cool.
How about how, we've kind of touched upon this, but some of the plot devices are so weird and corny. Like if you were having a conversation with someone, like you're like, yeah, so there's like this big moment in the book where the character's motivations are tied to a romance novel.
Yeah.
Really good.
And then later on, they have to go to a forest and find a rocket ship tree. Like, like you think about it outside of the context of the story. And you're like,
people are like, that sounds really dumb. What are you reading?
Yeah, it's so weird and stupid. But I didn't think twice about it when I was reading it. Like, it just, that's in there. It works in this world.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think about it until after the fact. I was like, that is really bizarre, like, way to move a plot along. But I guess that's a testament to this story that, like, even though it's really strange and weird and corny in some cases, while you're reading it, you don't think about that. You're
Right.
just like, oh, well, fuck, there's this romance novel. And it plays a big part of the story.
It's a huge part, yeah.
And the whole first volume was basically them trying to find a fucking rocket ship tree.
Yeah. Yeah. Once again, if you say it out loud, you're like, that sounds dumb.
Yeah.
I assure you, listeners, it is not dumb.
It is not
awesome.
dumb. It is brilliant.
It's really brilliant. Yeah.
It's pretty cool, but I still kind of, even while I was reading it, I still kind of thought, like, really, I don't know. I mean, I guess I knew that it was a little far fetched, even within a world like even the characters call it out and say that's a little weird.
Right. Right. And which brings it to a level where you're like, okay, at least the person writing this knows that this is weird as shit.
Yeah.
And it's like calling it out and saying like, it's being self-aware, which is
Yeah. I mean, I had feelings like that, and even like when I was playing Final Fantasy games and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not unprecedented in and fantasy based things. So I still accepted it and went on with it, but I'm glad that somebody called attention to it more so than they did in the Final Fantasy games.
Right.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's
Big
one of those
kid.
books that you pick up and you plow through that first volume or first 6 issues, and you're
It
ready
stays
for more.
good too. It's good throughout. Up until 31, 2 or whatever. It's it's still fucking good. So
It's funny to see the faces that come in and they pick up volume 1. They're like, "Yeah, I heard this is good." 2
Yeah.
days later, volume 2. 2 days later, volume 3. Like
Yeah.
I see them for like 2 weeks straight, and they're like, "I can't stop reading."
yeah, yeah. So
It's well worth the praise, I think.
absolutely, yeah. All the things you've heard about it are true. It's awesome. Go read it.
Check it out.
Yeah, I think. I think we'll stop there for
Take a
now.
break.
We'll take a break. I know I have to poop. I don't know about you guys, but the last night's catching up with me, so I'm gonna go deposit some things in the bathroom.
And then drink some more.
Yeah, we'll probably have some more drinks and come back and talk about the next stuff. Do some Star Wars.
Yeah.
Should take us out with that. I don't know, that ear candy.
We're all clones, all are one and one are all are one and one are all. We destroy the government, we're destroying time. No more problems on the way.
The rough neighborhoods and just kind of like not instigate it, but wait for somebody to start something. And I'd say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Can you give me directions to Shady Side or something?"
Can I have directions to the white people store?